What if I told you there is a single hour, one precious hour, that can spark a transformation so profound it echoes across the next 10 years of your life? What if I said you don't need anyone's permission, anyone's approval, or anyone's validation to step into that hour with courage and determination? Think about it for a moment. Picture the clock ticking away as you stand at a crossroads, your eyes fixed on the path that leads to greatness. Deep down, that somewhere within you lies the fire of potential. You feel it whenever your heart races with excitement for something more. In that heartbeat, you sense the promise of a life well lived. A life where you're not just coasting, but thriving at the highest level possible. Yet so many of us waste these moments of possibility. We make excuses, postpone our dreams, and let fear hijack our future. But tonight, I want you to imagine this hour as a gateway, a passage into a reality where you become the best version of yourself. Here's the truth. Every one of us has struggled with doubt. We have confronted fear and occasionally let it paralyze us. We've looked at the mountains in front of us, challenging careers, uncertain relationships, unfulfilled goals, and wondered if climbing them is even worth it. We've asked ourselves, do I really have what it takes? That question can sting. It can rob you of your momentum if you allow it. But let me tell you something. The real question isn't whether you have what it takes. The real question is whether you're willing to uncover it. Being the best isn't just about comparing yourself to others or trying to be perfect in every domain of your life. No. Being the best is about refusing to let your potential stagnate. It's about pushing past what's comfortable, what's familiar, and what's easy. It's about turning adversity into a ladder you climb, rather than a barrier that holds you back. I know you've faced moments of heartbreak, moments of betrayal, moments of loss. Those moments can either define your future or refine your character. You get to choose. Will you let past pain dictate tomorrow's possibilities, or will you decide right here and right now that you will transform that pain into fuel? No matter where you've been or what you've done, you are not finished. You are not stuck in cement. You are not a foregone conclusion. You are a dynamic, living being capable of astonishing breakthroughs. So take a deep breath and recognize the power coursing through your veins, the power to decide, the power to persist, and the power to become. Why is this important? Because you don't get a second shot at today. The days are passing whether you act or not. And if you don't take ownership of your next step, someone else will fill that vacuum with their own agenda. Don't let life happen to you. Stand up and make it happen for you. Stand up and declare, this is my life, and I will take charge of every precious moment I'm given. Because once you decide to own your day, you start owning your destiny. So how do we move from wishing to winning? First, we acknowledge the gap between who we are and who we could be. We remind ourselves that potential is a terrible thing to waste. We light that inner spark that sets our soul on fire. Then we connect with a vision so compelling that nothing can keep us from pursuing it. We can't rely on external motivation forever. It has to come from within, from the burning desire to live a life that resonates with purpose, ambition, and integrity. The world might try to make you smaller, might whisper that your dreams are too big, that your time is up. But I want you to laugh in the face of that doubt, because you are about to prove it wrong. You are capable of a renaissance in your own life, and tonight is your call to usher it in. Now, I invite you to journey with me through a few powerful ideas. Ideas that can elevate your mindset, reset your priorities, and build the foundation of your next decade. We'll talk about how that hour of focus can become a launching pad for your bigger destiny. We'll explore the daily habits and mindsets that unlock your full capacity. And we'll learn how to transform setbacks into strengths. Are you ready? Are you hungry for this? Good, because you deserve the absolute best that life has to offer. And more importantly, life deserves the absolute best of you. Let's begin with the raw truth. You are the architect of your future. What you build in the next hour, the next day, the next week will outline the blueprint for the next 10 years. If you want to look back a decade from now with pride, if you want to feel an unshakable sense of fulfillment and joy, you must make the decision today. Step forward. Own this moment. Decide that you will not allow complacency to steal another second from you. Decide that you will elevate, innovate, and transform. Because if you don't, who will? And if not now, when? I want you to realize that nothing, no excuse, no circumstance, no person can hold you back once you choose to be unstoppable. You stand at the threshold of a dramatic shift, and I promise you, if you commit to this path, your life will never be the same. Now is the time to set your sights on greatness. Now is the time to fan the flames of your potential. Now is the time to become the best. My first challenge to you is this: understand the sheer power of just 1 hour. You have 24 of them every single day, but rarely do we devote a single hour entirely to the relentless pursuit of self-improvement, of strategic thinking, of unstoppable action. I want you to claim 1 hour that belongs solely to you. No distractions, no excuses. Lock that door. Turn off that phone. Escape the noise. Because in that solitude lies the blueprint for your future. Too many people drift through their days in a fog of business, never pausing to reflect on who they're becoming. They chase tasks, obligations, and fleeting pleasures without ever stopping to ask if this frantic pace aligns with their bigger destiny. I've seen it time and time again. Individuals bury their dreams under a mountain of trivial distractions, then wonder why they feel empty. Don't let that be you. Guard your sacred hour with everything you've got, because in that hour, you will confront the gap between your current self and your potential self. Let me share a simple story from my own life. Early in my career, I was told I might not have the right look. I was advised to consider safer choices, told to temper my ambition because the competition was too fierce. Those words triggered something in me. They made me focused, made me hungry, made me relentless. I committed to at least 1 hour of intense, purposeful work each day, whether it was rehearsing, reading scripts, or honing my craft. Over time, that single hour became a daily pilgrimage. It was sacred. It was the proof to myself that I was serious about my calling. And let me tell you, 1 hour a day over months and years will change your entire trajectory. Because while others are sleeping on their potential, You're sharpening your edge. While others are letting the day slip away, you're building, you're creating, you're preparing. When opportunities came knocking, I was ready to answer with a resounding yes. But here's the critical thing. That hour doesn't just happen. You have to fight for it. You have to schedule it as if it were your most important appointment, because it is. If you don't, life will fill the vacuum. The phone will ring, the emails will stack up, the world will demand your attention. That's the tragedy. We give everyone and everything our attention before we ever give it to ourselves. Then we wonder why we're spinning our wheels. If you fail to protect that hour, you fail to protect your future. And if you think you can skip it, think again. It might seem like just 60 minutes, but the ripple effect is massive. Over the course of 10 years, that devoted time compounds like interest in a bank, multiplying your skills, your knowledge, and your determination. So the challenge is real. Set an alarm, wake up earlier, or carve it out of your evening. Don't wait for the right moment, because it will never come. You create the right moment by showing up consistently. And if you refuse to do that, you gamble with your own potential. You risk mediocrity, stagnation, and regret. The signs of neglect will be there. You'll feel stuck, unfulfilled, and uncertain about your direction. But the solution is within your grasp. Commit to your hour. Commit to yourself. Yes, it might feel lonely at first, turning off the noise of the world. But it's in that loneliness that you discover your true voice. You'll hear the whispers of your heart, the aspirations you've long buried. You'll see clearly the steps you need to take to move forward. And over time, that hour won't feel like a chore. It'll feel like a lifeline. It'll be the place where dreams get translated into plans, and plans get translated into consistent action. So let me ask you, are you willing to claim your hour? Are you prepared to face your own reflection and say, Wes, I'm all in? Because being the best isn't an accident. It's a deliberate choice. It's a matter of daily practice, built 1 hour at a time, one decision at a time. And if you choose not to, what's at stake? Your future. A future that could have been filled with opportunities, growth, and impact might remain unexplored. Don't do that to yourself. Don't starve the world of what you have to offer. Don't starve yourself of the fulfillment you deserve. Keep that momentum rolling, because now that you're aware of the power in 1 hour, it's time to address something else that can keep you from being your best: the paralyzing grip of fear. Many of you know exactly what I mean. You might be carrying a dream you never acted upon because you're terrified of failing. Maybe you've got a passion buried under layers of worry about what people might think. Fear has a sneaky way of making you doubt yourself. It whispers in your ear, you can't do this, or what if you look foolish, or what if you lose everything? And guess what? Those thoughts, left unchecked, will strangle your dreams and bury your potential. I'll never forget when I was first confronted with the fear of stepping onto a stage for a demanding role. It wasn't just about remembering lines. It was about bringing my whole soul to the performance and leaving it out there for the world to judge. And that's scary. But here's what I realized: fear is the admission price for greatness. You can't have one without the other. If your dream doesn't scare you at least a little bit, you're probably not dreaming big enough. Fear is a sign that you're pushing boundaries, that you're stepping into terrain where you can grow and learn. However, if you let it lock you in place, it becomes a prison. It's not enough to merely acknowledge fear. You have to move through it. That's where courage comes in. Courage is taking action despite the presence of fear, not in the absence of it. But too often, we want guarantees. We want to know that everything will work out just fine. We want a safety net so tight that risk is entirely eliminated. That's not how life works, folks. If you want to soar, you've got to be willing to leave the safe perch behind. We learn to fly by venturing into the unknown, feeling the rush of the wind, and discovering that our wings can carry us after all. Sure, sometimes you'll stumble. Sometimes you'll fail. But failure isn't fatal, it's feedback. It shows you what doesn't work, so you can find what does. What happens if you never conquer your fear? You stay trapped in your comfort zone. You watch opportunities pass by like trains you never board. You tell yourself, maybe next time. But next time never comes because you haven't built the muscle of courage. Don't let your potential fade into the background. It's time to declare your independence from the tyranny of fear. Start small if you have to. Speak up in a meeting when you'd usually stay silent. Share an idea you've been too hesitant to voice. Take a chance on something you've long dreamed about. Each small act of courage compounds. Each step forward expands your comfort zone until the things that once terrified you become second nature. You're not alone. Look around you. Every single person in this audience has a fear. Maybe it's fear of rejection, fear of success. But you have a choice. Do you let fear become your identity, or do you use it as a stepping stone? Because on the other side of fear is freedom. On the other side of fear life is the life you actually want to live, the goals you want to achieve, the legacy you hope to leave behind. And here's a practical tactic. When fear rears its head, pause and ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? Often the worst case scenario is far less horrifying than we imagine. Then ask, what's the best that can happen? That possibility is usually far more spectacular than we dare to believe. Weigh the two and recognize that living your life in fear robs you of the best outcomes you could ever experience. One more piece of advice. Surround yourself with people who have the courage to face their own fears. You want an environment that nourishes bravery, not one that undermines it. Seek mentors who challenge you to step up. Seek friends who celebrate your progress. When you're around individuals who believe in courage as a lifestyle, you can't help but absorb that mindset. Let them remind you that you can do difficult things, that you can stand tall in the face of uncertainty, and that you can chase dreams that once seemed out of reach. Now, let's move forward. We've looked at the power of dedicating one focused hour, and we've confronted the necessity of pushing past fear. But being your best isn't only about relentless ambition and boldness, it also rests on the foundation of gratitude and humility. Yes, gratitude. Yes, humility. These two qualities might sound soft, but let me tell you, they are the hidden keys that unlock enduring success. Whenever I've experienced significant breakthroughs, I've paused to acknowledge the incredible blessings that paved the way. I've expressed gratitude for the lessons learned from mentors, for the sacrifices my loved ones made, and for the unwavering faith that saw me through. Gratitude keeps us grounded in reality. It shifts our perspective from entitlement to appreciation. When you stand on a stage, literally or metaphorically, and accomplish something great, it's easy to start believing you did it all by yourself. But rarely is that true. Every triumph is the result of countless threads woven together. Threads of support, threads of guidance, threads of love. Recognizing that fact doesn't diminish your achievement, it heightens it. Because you realize you're part of something bigger. You see that the journey is as important as the destination. Yet gratitude, when paired with humility, becomes unstoppable. Humility reminds you that you're still learning. It tells you there's always another level to reach, another lesson to absorb. It keeps your mind open and your heart receptive. Have you ever met someone who thinks they know it all? Someone who believes they've arrived at the pinnacle of their craft and can't possibly learn from anyone else. Those people stagnate. Their arrogance closes the doors to growth. But if you stay humble, if you remind yourself that the journey never ends, you'll keep evolving. You'll keep refining your skills and broadening your horizons. In a decade's time, you'll look back and hardly recognize the person you once were because you've grown so much. A real-life example. I've been fortunate in my career to receive recognition and accolades. But each time I stepped off a stage or finished a film, I knew I wasn't done. I asked myself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I do better next time? That's humility in action. And it's not about self-deprecation or denying your gifts. It's about acknowledging that you're an eternal student in the grand classroom of life. It's about respecting the craft, the process, and the people around you who contributed to your success. That humility makes you approachable, adaptable, and even more magnetic. People want to work with individuals who value their contributions and keep an open mind. Now imagine if you neglect gratitude and humility. The consequences can be devastating. You might climb the ladder of success, but you'll find yourself isolated at the top, disconnected from the very people who helped you get there. You'll miss out on the wisdom that comes from listening to others. You'll burn bridges rather than build them, and over time, those burned bridges catch up to you. Loneliness, bitterness, and unfulfilled promise become your reality. That's not the future you want. You want to reach the summit and feel the joy of having traveled there in a spirit of collaboration and respect. So practice gratitude daily. Make it a habit to reflect on what you're thankful for. Your health, your family, your opportunities, even your struggles, because they're shaping you into a stronger person. And carry humility as a badge of honor. A reminder that you are evolving, that you haven't arrived yet, but you're on your way. When you combine these elements, dedicating focused time to your growth, conquering fear with courage, and grounding yourself in gratitude and humility, you establish a solid platform for sustained excellence. You're not just sprinting through life, chasing fleeting goals. You're building a legacy that reflects your authentic self. And now, I want to gather all these threads and weave them into a final tapestry that will guide you through the next 10 years and beyond. So let's recap. Let's revisit the heart of what we've shared tonight. You have the power to become the best version of yourself. And you can start within a single hour. That hour is your sacred ground for self-reflection, strategic planning, and disciplined action. If you protect it fiercely, if you show up consistently, you unleash a force that multiplies over time and can transform your entire life. Combine that discipline with the courage to face your fears. Remember, fear is not your enemy, it's your compass. It points to areas where you can grow. Embrace it, challenge it, and push through it until you discover the other side, which is freedom. And as you conquer new heights, never forget to anchor yourself in gratitude and humility. Recognize that you are part of something greater, that you have not traveled alone, and that your journey continues infinitely as long as you stay humble enough to learn. Everything we've discussed boils down to one question. What future are you creating right now? Are you settling for a future defined by accidents and impulses? Or are you intentionally shaping a decade that reflects your deepest aspirations? Today, I'm challenging you to pick up the chisel and carve out a destiny that does justice to your talents, your dreams, and the people you love. You can't do it halfway. You can't do it with one foot in and one foot out. The path to being the best demands your whole heart, your focused mind, and your unshakable faith in what's possible. And here's the exhilarating part. Once you commit, once you truly say yes to becoming the best, the universe has a way of stepping in to support you. Doors open. People show up. Ideas flow. Opportunities align. It's not magic. It's the byproduct of unwavering resolve meeting divine timing. So let me say this plainly. Don't you dare leave tonight the same person who walked in. Don't you dare let your old excuses keep you from taking a new step forward. Don't you dare ignore the fire in your gut that's telling you you're made for more. You have to become relentless in your pursuit of growth. This requires setting goals that stretch you beyond what feels comfortable, creating habits that reinforce your values, and surrounding yourself with a community that fuels your dreams. Yes, it will be challenging. Yes, you will be tested. But that's when you discover who you truly are. Strength isn't built in moments of comfort. It's built in moments of adversity. Embrace the challenge. Lean into it. Let it refine you. When you're feeling tired, remember why you started. When you question your path, remember who you want to become. When you doubt your ability, remember all the times you overcame obstacles you once thought impossible. Take a moment now. Close your eyes if you want to. Picture yourself 10 years from now. Where are you standing? Who is standing beside you? What have you built, created, or achieved? And most importantly, who have you become? If that vision excites you, if it stirs something deep inside your heart, then commit to it. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Every day, reaffirm that vision, and every day, take a step in that direction, no matter how small. Because the journey of 10 years is just a series of days, and each day is an opportunity to bring that vision closer to reality. Yes. There will be stumbling blocks. You might lose friends who don't share your commitment. You might face criticism from people who can't see your vision. You might wrestle with self-doubt. Embrace each of these obstacles for what they are. Stepping stones on the path to your highest self. You are forging new territory. And sometimes it means letting go of old baggage. But let me tell you something, as you evolve, you'll attract new relationships, new opportunities, and new triumphs that align with the person you're becoming. Keep your eyes on that horizon. Trust the process. Know that every sacrifice, every tear, and every late night brainstorming session is preparing you for something spectacular. And if you ever feel the weight of the journey, come back to gratitude and humility. Reflect on how far you've come and ground yourself in the knowledge that there's always more to learn. Turn your hardships into lessons. Turn your setbacks into fuel. And never lose sight of that powerful hour each day that catalyzes your transformation. You are not alone. I'm cheering for you. And so are countless others who believe in the power of human potential. Think about your loved ones, your friends, and even people you haven't met yet who will one day be inspired by your story. There is no limit to the ripples you create when you stand tall in your purpose. Now, here's my final call to action. Start tonight. Don't wait until the morning. Don't wait for Monday or next month or the new year. Seize this very moment to make a change, however small, that shifts your trajectory. Maybe that means drafting your goals for the next decade. Maybe it means sending an email you've been putting off. Maybe it means setting your alarm an hour earlier for tomorrow. Whatever it is, do it now. Procrastination is the assassin of dreams. It lulls you into thinking there's plenty of time. But there isn't. Time is finite, and your dreams demand urgency. When you walk out of here, commit to action. Because a decision without action is just a wish, and wishes alone don't build legacies. I believe in your capacity to rise. I believe you have something extraordinary inside of you. An idea, a gift, a spark that can illuminate this world. And I believe that if you dedicate yourself wholeheartedly, you'll look back 10 years from now, smiling at the person you've become, proud of the road you chose, and grateful for every fear you confronted. Because that's what it means to be the best. It's not just about accolades or standing ovations. It's about knowing you poured every ounce of your soul into becoming exactly who you were meant to be. So stand with me now, mentally, emotionally, and declare that you are done shrinking. You are done letting fear make your choices. You are done living half awake. You are embracing your destiny as someone who thrives, someone who leads, someone who loves deeply and gives generously. You are stepping into the fullness of your potential, guided by focus, driven by courage, sustained by gratitude, and refined by humility. And when doubt tries to creep in tomorrow or the next day, remember this moment. Remember the energy in this room. Remember the promise you made to yourself. Because that promise is worth keeping, and you are worth every ounce of effort it requires. So go forth, my friends, and commit to greatness. Seize that hour. Face those fears. Ground yourself in gratitude and humility. Build a future so bright it ignites hope in everyone who sees you shine. Do it now. Do it boldly. Do it for the person you'll be 10 years from now. A person who stands tall, unwavering, and triumphant, having lived life at the summit of your extraordinary potential. It is within your reach. And tonight, you claim it. Go be the best. Your next 10 years start this very hour. Use it wisely. Use it courageously. And never look back.